Warm greetings, good evening from here, and very special to be connected for this weekend retreat. Hope the sound is working and you can hear from here, and translation is good. It's happiness and its friends. A very simple question could be, which happiness and which kind of friends? That word happiness, it's got so many different meanings in English, at least. So I'll share this to get us thinking on which kind of happiness. A very simple but beautiful Chinese proverb. And it goes like this. If you want happiness for an hour, take a nap. If you want it for a day, go fishing. If you want happiness for a year, inherit a fortune. If you want happiness for a lifetime, help somebody else. And nice feeling on that. It's like this, we have abundant happiness, but we kind of don't experience it unless we're in this mode of sharing. I think within that there was a version, if you want happiness for 1 month, get married. But that's not in this version. So looking forward to getting into the details of this from the subtle and the spiritual. So seeing if Shanta's ready to say hello.
Yes, sure. Hello and good evening. Now I like that proverb, and maybe we'll have the discussion on this as we go further. Is it really help someone else? Is that enough to be happy forever? What is it that is required? And if I ask you, what would you say is a way to be happy forever? There are nice ways people in this world, they want to be happy for an hour, or maybe just a minute, and you want to be happy for a minute, eat a chocolate maybe. So to be happy for the lifetime, what is it? What would be required? Do you want to tell? Do you have some reflections on this? You can type. Ancient answer is one, but maybe more recent answers would be of greater value.
If one is full of spiritual treasures, that's one answer. Then, and knowing ourselves, being bodiless, and contentment, knowledge, to live in truth, be free from vice and belong to God. Get closer to Baba. Humility.
That's good. Very good.
Experience security. Have no desires.
Yes. So yeah, perfect. Now let us create this opportunity first for our own reset. And our whole idea of spiritual effort, we can simplify it with the help of that story. In that story, there is an insect on one side, An insect has his own idea of progress and success. Busy, full-time busy, the insect. It wants to progress and achieve more things in that anthill. Doesn't know even that there's anything beyond that anthill. And there are experts who are having great ideas how to make their lives better, the lives of insects. And the ant can become a bigger ant and maybe famous ant. There are experts, and people get prizes for wonderful suggestions there. And what you are seeing is that they all are eagles. That's what you are seeing. They are meant to be from the sky, and they should be experiencing something completely different. And what are they doing in that anthill? Your idea of help is very different, to take them out of this degradation. Even if they are thinking they are successful ants, you see that as degradation. You want them to discover that sky, become normal again. So this gives us a very clear idea where what knowledge represents. And it is also gives an idea for coming to some decisions in different situations. If you were to see in a simple model anthill, then you take one way, your decisions will be of one kind. When you are seeing there is two levels here, overlapping, and what appears to be success and progress at the level of the end may be an obstacle. Someone is very impressed with his success. He's stuck in the anthill. Maybe one who is less successful ant may have more chances of discovering the sky than one who is stuck with lots of sticky sugar in that anthill. The first thing that is of great value for us, ourselves here, is the paras intellect. Why? Paras first helps you to see the sky, to get out of the anthill to start with. Otherwise, Patthar, you are so stuck, you don't even know there is anything else. So paras is like a first, you get a fresh air and you are seeing beyond, and you are understanding there is a dimension beyond this. And you are seeing the physical world for what it is. You are seeing the limitations. That's great. For what it is great, but you are seeing it. It's temporary nature. It's a gross nature. Right? That's fine. Paras helps us see the story as story. There are no sort of confusion. Story 1 minute and it becomes your world next minute. It's a story, full stop. It's fiction. There are a variety of episodes. They begin, they end. That's the way it is. There is no confusion when you are using paras. And you are able to see the dimension beyond. World of light, agreed, world of silence, but this is the world of the family, true family you're seeing. They're all in the image of tiny points. Well, that's great. They are immortal. They are conscious. In the story, there is no one there who is born and who dies. Story just has a script and story finishes and no one dies. Whereas in the world beyond the story, here is the true family. We are just acknowledging this. And their form is very simple. On the stage, in the story, you need the crown, and you need a hat, and you need a turban, beard. You need this for the theater. Beyond, you don't need anything. They are just like tiny points. Complete simplicity. Most beautiful thing about these people of light, they need nothing for their existence, and nothing can harm them. Nothing in the three worlds can harm them, even the slightest. And they need nothing for their existence. There's two things. They need nothing and nothing can harm. These are the only two factors. They are the cause of a poison in the system. In other words, any kind of sorrow, their origin is justice. Beggar and a victim. I need something, because I might be not, won't survive without needing something. So it can be air, it can be food, it can be shelter. There is some need, and you become dependent. Another is I may be harmed. These are two factors that rule all life, and they may be committing sin on top of sin because of these two factors. These invisible souls, their greatness is at this level. They need nothing for their existence. They are immortal. And they cannot be harmed even the slightest by anything in the three worlds. That story cannot harm them even the slightest. If these two factors are removed, so desire and harm, these two things are removed, then there is nothing that can stop them from being happy. If anyone experiments with this, if you want to experience this, you don't need to do 7 days course. Just take up this as a possibility, even invisible player, and this is a family. They need nothing and nothing can harm them. Just try and get a feel of it. And what remains in you, what you will experience, is a feeling of joy and love. This will just follow. All you need to do is just grasp these two factors. Need nothing and you cannot be harmed. Never a beggar, never a victim. It also tells me that if one wants to beg, then no one can stop them. If someone wants to beg, go ahead. It is a bit like that. They can beg for, what, gold. They can beg for position. They can beg for respect, and they can beg for more respect, more love. They can beg as much as they like. That option is there. And they can see themselves as potential victims, make a list of things, what can go wrong, and then how things can be changed, and so many things. In the past, they've been victims, and in future, they can be victims. They can make a list of these things. That option is there, freedom is there. But we also have the option to see the perspective of the soul, and soul needs nothing, and soul cannot be harmed. One philosopher, he says, I'm not frightened of death. Before I was born, obviously, I was dead somewhere. There was a time I was born in this life, I was born. So before that, I was not there, so I was dead somewhere. And he said, it didn't cause me slightest inconvenience. Because I died before I was born. Nothing harmed me, it didn't create any inconvenience. I'm quite okay. So also here in this journey, person who comes in that space that nothing can harm him, it's a great roller coaster. Therefore this soul point, it goes up and down and round and out, takes birth and leaves the body. It doesn't cause him the slightest harm. When he creates attachments, then he thinks he has got so much to lose. When he creates ego feels he can receive so much offense that he can then, because others might offend him, he wants to build castles and protect himself behind the castle. That is his answer to it. But starting position, everyone is safe. You want to add anything? You want to say anything?
While others may be thinking on this, and I think the analogy of roller coaster is very apt, and in my mind actually makes me think of also what others, and knowing how this roller coaster, birth, death, things are happening, and very suddenly. This aspect that everyone else is also safe also brings a lot of peace, contentment. But I think probably what's happening there is there's identification going on. So with the drama that others may be having, to know that they're safe, it's shifting us to that space. But what would ordinarily be happening is we're only really identifying with that state, and we're thinking subconsciously that could be me. So it does come back to the ego mind, even if we think we're thinking of others. But all are beyond harm is a very beautiful contemplation. Yeah, there aren't any other thoughts right now from that. Maybe one question: how to navigate feeling hurt as well as knowing I'm a soul? There's a question. I might need to unmute if you want to.
Yeah, sure. We said in feeling hurt, that that happens only when I create an ego, identify with things. And then even if I'm watching a film, I can take sorrow there, because I can identify with someone on the screen. That option is there to take sorrow, to identify, to create attachments. But it gives us an idea also that all of that is fabricated. It is not necessary. It doesn't help me to be useful to others either. So at a practical level, what does it mean? We have the option to create 1 minute where I identify with nothing. Soul consciousness means this. You are seeing the soul, you are dealing with the story, and it's the story, full stop. And in the story, many things happen, but the soul is beyond harm. And you also know everyone else is beyond harm. Everyone is safe, everyone is immortal. Bring this angle, this understanding fully. We said at the beginning, Paras hasn't got some confusion. It is story 100%, full stop. He doesn't mix things. So for 1 minute, you are seeing fully with the new intellect and new sight, and give yourself a chance to see differently. And then you realize this entire physical world is a major gift. It is like an extraordinary PlayStation, a gift. Roller coaster, circus, theater, all within it. It is not meant to create some, eternal family. That is not the idea behind. It is just a PlayStation. And your family is beyond. They are immortal. And they are beyond harm. So you are seeing the full map, complete map, for 1 minute. And you will discover within you the feelings of contentment, total contentment. As we were said, happiness comes with friends. You discover that feeling of everyone being lovely and noble, and everyone worthy of love. When one is like this, beyond harm, there's that personality that comes up. That's why we are saying happiness comes with friends. So the moment soul realizes that he is beyond harm, nothing can harm him, even the slightest, then he becomes innocent. This is the nature of anyone. Innocence is proportionate to how much you are secure. One who is of this level, he's immortal, and nothing in the three worlds can harm him, even the slightest. Once he has understood this, bottom line is this, then he can afford to be innocent. And that is like a childlike personality. Everyone innately is like this. Right in front of me, they are innocent or not, it doesn't matter. But you realize that their innate nature is innocence. They are harmless. They themselves are beyond harm. They are secure. They are lovely, childlike. They are lovely, loving, and lucky. Each and everyone is like this. You understand this secret about this race. And this applies not just to human beings. This is the nature of all souls. By that I mean beyond the human family. All souls, family of souls, they are lovely and they are childlike. That's why we, at a gross level, people like to have pets. The people like to love cats and dogs and animals. They want to go and feed the animals because they love them. And why does that happen? At a deep level, we know everyone is lovely. All the life is immensely lovely. They're childlike and harmless. Once they discover they are immortal and they are beyond harm, they become lovely. And such is the natural state of everyone. So you discover the happiness, but with that happiness, there is feeling of love and feeling of being loved and feeling of contentment. And it is like an extraordinary thing when there is that. It is not contrived. In our society, there can be, some love and party going on, Christmas going on, but you just don't know what may be happening next minute, what someone is planning behind you. All these complications are there, helplessly. This is the eye and age. Because everyone is not safe. Everyone is not secure. And just complicates their personality, and that creates a reaction from others. So everything becomes a messy society, iron age society, full of potential intrigues and harm. But there can be party at one level. Here we are talking about clean inside out. That's why the language of childlike and godlike. It is clean. And that applies to human and animal, the whole family of souls. They are like this. They are godlike. Love is authentic love at every level. Whatever that may happen, but love remains. And we have the option to experience it, maybe for 1 minute. That is the way it will grow. Golden Age is not just a little, happy song, but they are these kind of personalities. All are like this. Zero Ravan there, zero Ravan-based complications, zero ignorance. Excellent. And we will come to some slides. We are going to do that very soon. But do you want to add anything, say anything at this point?
More questions may come, but it's really, I really appreciate this connection with innocence. It's like the aspect you can afford to be innocent, but this innocence is not without the wisdom. So it's a nice. There's nothing vulnerable about it. So no other questions at the moment. Prashant's navigating the technology. Yep, the top slideshow to the right, above. Keep going up. The menu at the top.
Something is blocking it.
Oh, okay. So if you want to speak a bit, I can come up and have a look.
Yeah. So here I will be showing some slides, and these slides, it is approaching from science, not trying to understand the subject from the angle of how the scientists see this. So you will see the slides, and let us see. Aristotle was the first scientist and a philosopher. He was the professor of Alexander the Great many years before Christ. And his famous reference to happiness. We do everything for happiness. Whatever we think of, we think what will make us happy, pursuit of happiness. We don't need to put it in the constitution, because it is naturally the instinct of each and every one. But the problem is where spirituality comes in. Everyone is deceived by the short-term happiness. When you are given a bait, say fish, fish is happy to seeing a bait. It gets happiness for 5 seconds, but then it gets trapped in sorrow for more than 5 seconds. Something similar happens to everyone, all living beings. That short-term happiness has a possibility of giving sorrow to us. That's why spiritual message takes caution. Many others might think, oh, happiness, what's wrong with it? But you are seeing the bigger map, and you say, stay away from it, because you have the innate original option. You have happiness within you. That is what the deep sense of inner well-being. So when we were talking about this big map and reason, there is no reason for harm or sorrow. You have discovered is you are not eating chocolates, or you are not going fishing, and all those references in the Chinese proverb. But you are having higher happiness, supersensuous happiness, highest happiness, and that has come through wisdom. So the present day happiness, there is this field in science and psychology called positive psychology, and this field is more popular in the last 40 years, and many very good projects to study this human mind and what happens with happiness. What do you say our commonly held ideas about happiness? And they are not true. Many observations they find people do things with a certain belief, but when they study it, they find something else. One example here, right? If you ask 18-year-old, what will make you happy? What do you want to achieve in life? Lots of people will answer, they want money, more money. But some might say they want to be famous and they want to be beautiful, they want to have power. Some might say they want position, and some want ice cream. Not any other, largely people, if you ask this question, this is what they want to achieve. Ideas of progress and success and achievement is all this. And if you ask some political leaders, if you ask these candidates for prime minister, ask them, you won't get anything is very different. It is just a bigger position, They think that is what the idea of success and happiness is. But in this study, they go and meet people who are famous and who are beautiful and who have wealth, and try and find out. It is not just asking them, are you happy? But they go deeper, try to see what is going on in their life. And they find that there's no difference. Someone who is very famous and someone who is not famous at all, when they study their sense of well-being, there's no difference. Someone who has got lots of wealth and no wealth, or little wealth, no difference. It is just statistics. Means someone says I got 8 billion and someone else says I got just 800. This is all. But there is, on the contrary, it is possible that in spite of all this success, they might be worse off than one with the less of the wealth or position. May I ask you, what is the reason you think? This is what everyone is working for on this planet. They want more wealth than what they already have. They want to increase it. They want a bigger position, more power. This is what everyone is working. And we say after achieving it, and getting the success, it doesn't really change the inner state. Why? Why it is not changing? And we even said it may get worse. What is it? What is going on?
So it is happiness, which is external, and therefore we're being deluded. They have it all, but then one is afraid of losing it. And then there are things like jealousy, and the feeling you can lose it means you're insecure.
And another way of seeing it, we mentioned before, beggar within us and victim within us. If they are not addressed, then then it is like an inner life, beggar and victim. I may have lots of wealth and a bigger hat, but the beggar and victim, they are like parasites within our system. But what can happen is some of these successes, they may feed the beggar, or they may make the victim feel worse of a victim. As you said, so you put it right nicely. But and if the beggar is made a bigger beggar, and the victim is made to feel bigger, as the ego gets bigger, he feels he is a bigger victim. And he needs more. So now you are worse off. One nice example of this is John Lennon. This is a photograph in early 1960s. And he says life is a wonder. And his life showed it and his songs showed it. This is same John Lennon in 1975. And in one interview with the BBC, which I heard, you will be able to locate the recording if you like. And in this interview, he says, life is a torture. The exact words, life is a torture. And do you know what line he says? He tells in the interview, what is the reason? Do you know what he tells? Make a guess.
Was it spiritual insight they had?
Sure, something else?
Yeah, I mean, and one just a clue, maybe.
Yeah.
Too much money. He has too much money.
Yeah.
Unable to tackle fame.
Yeah. He says life is a torture because of, he says someone else releases music, someone else does something, he would find himself in comparison, some kind of envy, those feelings. He mentions it. He says it would have been nice for all of them if they were to show me the music first, get my opinion, let me feel part of it. And they just release it themselves. He says he feels hurt by that. But the next line he says, it is because of the ego. He has that observation. He says artists create ego. And so one way or the other, we are in that victim mind. So this is like a very useful thing for every student of school need to be aware of. They all want success. They all want something, to achieve. And here is someone who has success. Not many can claim a success on a scale of the success by John Lennon. And after that, he says, life is a torture. So in wealth, we all need a certain basic wealth. That's what they say, experts, studies. Below that point, it creates stress. So beyond that minimum, all the extra wealth, it is just statistics. Good for us to know human beings can adapt. This is a very positive observation. What does it mean we can adapt? Let us say a person has got a certain life and he wins a lottery. And lottery, 150 million euros, so he got a proper lottery money. So now he has got a big car and he lives in a big house, and he drinks his coffee in a big mug, and any friends come to see him, he shows them around, look at the gold here and there's a gold here, amazing palace, and this is specially made, tiles, and he is electronic, some gadgets inbuilt. Everyone is impressed, and so he's noticing all this, appreciating his new palace, high tech, gold plated rooms. What will happen after 2 months, after 4 months? What will happen? He will not notice all that gold, and he will not be using those electronic gadgets. They all are there, but he will not be noticing them. And his inner life will come back. That is what it means by adapt. You just get used to these things, and you adapt to that. But inner life comes back. So if earlier you were worried about something, worried about paying bills. Now you will find a reason to worry. Something you will find. Earlier you were complaining, shouting at people. And now you will find someone whom you can and find reasons to complain, because that is where you are, that is where you are, and that is all will take over. Inner life comes back, and that is what you experience. There is nice gold all around, but what you are experiencing is not the outer life. You are experiencing the inner life. Sometimes people think that they have to change, they have to go to another country, they have to so that will solve the problem. But you adapt, and the inner life goes with you to know this factor. This is also, this happens other way around, which means you choose to make your life simple. You are, instead of staying in a palace, you choose to stay in a small, simple hut. First few days you will find your bed is a bit hard and you don't have many cushions around. And you have to have some cold shower. After a few days, you will get used. If you are happy before, that happiness will continue. Your inner life continues. Human beings can adapt. This is a very useful factor for politicians to know, because many times when they are planning, they don't count this factor. The psychologists make this statement. The more people count this factor in their planning, then be better and more efficient.
Does it work the other way as well? A question in the chat. Does the mind adapt to maybe having lots of gold or big property, and then we no longer appreciate that after having, say, this gold castle?
Yes, of course, that's a situation. But if they choose to have a simpler life, they will adapt to that also. That is, externally things will happen. What is really a question internally, if there are some very strong sanskars, they are the ones, they will continue. And they will be creating problem when you are in a palace also, and when you are leading a simple life. This is a very interesting study, and I will be coming to this factor. And what is done here? You can make a questionnaire. You can study this yourselves. You can set up a project, and some questions, from those questions, if people answer them, you come to know whether they are takers. Takers means that they want to give me, I need things, be something like that. They were happy to take. Taking can be gross, taking can be subtle, which means give me praise, give me respect, give me love. That is all taking. So that is takers. Havers, those who feel happy because what they have. Look at this is mine, this is my land, this is my property, these are my children. So they are happy, counting their money. So that is, they are havers. The word my will be there in their lives. And then there are beggars. Beggars, they are actively Takers, they're happy to take. Beggars are, they are actively going out, to take things. And the givers, as we said, in every situation. Once there was a small child, maybe less than 2 years of age, with the parents, and he was in every situation very happy to give to others. If he is given chocolate or he's given some sweets, tolis, is giving to others, and very happy to give it to others. So these are like a givers. Givers, in the face of their own inconvenience, then they are real givers. And then the robbers, their desperation is so much that they can commit crime. They can break the law. Beggars are not breaking the law, but robbers can break the law to get something. And it can be gross and subtle, to get love, but they can go a bit funny, it can be aggressive, trying to get attention from someone. And the question is, who are happy? And they find that givers are the happiest, regardless of their personal situation. That is the important part. They are the fortunate ones, blessed ones. So you will come across an old lady in your town, in your village, in the street, who everyone knows. Anything is required, she will be always available to help. Then they are givers. These are givers. What they also find in each of these personality types, there is the emotion that goes with that. May I ask you, what is the emotion that goes with the takers? There's a predominant attitude, emotion that goes with them. So we said givers are the happy lot. Not takers. What is going on? What is the emotion in them?
Well, someone wrote needy, so maybe emptiness, fear, something like left wanting, insecurity.
Yeah, very good. What happens with takers? Because if you are a beggar, or personality of a taker, then you all the time give me more. It is a bit like that. There is no contentment there. Someone gives respect, but you gave respect yesterday. Why not today? Something, give me more. So, and it ends up with complaint that you are not giving enough. So anytime there is a complaint, know that here is a taker. Giver is busy giving. He doesn't count whether others are giving or not. But the taker is counting, and he says, now I want more. Just keep giving me. So these are takers. Havers, what is the emotion with havers?
Greed, selfish, comparison, hoarding, pride.
Yeah, good. And because they're using the label my, too many things, they have fear of losing. So they are the ones who have more anxiety about things. It can be anything. It can be people. I might be losing people, or I might be losing my gold, or my shares might change the price. So they will always have fear, some anxiety, some panic, subconscious or conscious. So the givers are the blessed ones. We said, they are the ones who are naturally happy. So we are seeing this another angle to the equation. Let me ask a question. My logic tells me that if I give, I lose. If I take, I get. So if I give, I'm losing. And here you are saying that the givers are the fortunate ones. And the givers are the ones who are happy. They get. From where? Where is this coming from? My logic tells those who are takers, they are the ones who should be having something. Those who are givers, how can they have things? Where is it coming from?
There's some blessings they receive back. They're optimistic, see the glass half full. We are told that in spiritual wisdom. It's to do with the heart, the feeling of having.
Okay, good.
Karmic return.
Yeah, very good. Let me give an example. Let us say you are you have your food, in your house. There are 5 people in your family, in the household, and there is enough food on the table, and there is some food in the fridge. So that's good. You got enough there, for the family. Suddenly, your friends arrive, to visit you. They say, we've been missing you all these months, so maybe they did not go out at all. So we decided to visit you. Sorry that we didn't inform you beforehand, but we have arrived and it is lunchtime. And there are 30 of them. So that food that is on your table is not enough for these 30 friends. And they all love you so much. But right now they're hungry. So what are you going to do? How are you going to solve this? And there are no pizza shops in the town. So you have to solve it in your house. What will you do?
This is not with Deliveroo either. Small portions.
Okay.
Share.
Sure. A situation of this kind forces you to go to the kitchen store and see what is there in the store. Ordinarily, why do you need to go to the kitchen store? There is enough food on the table already. And if you need something different, there's enough in the fridge. So now the situation has come. It forces you to think, what else is in the house? What else in the garden? You are thinking this way now. And all of this makes you find things that you have forgotten about. You are going in the kitchen store, you find what is there, and this can be used. Now you can use it for your friends and you can use it for yourselves also. Ordinarily, you might not have gone there. Same thing happens with our life at another level. What the spiritual knowledge tells us, we have got a big store. Each and everyone got a big store of happiness and its friends. It is there. These treasures are there within the soul. That's why when we say Om Shanti, Om, within that is the message that treasures are within you, the soul. Not just Shanti, but all treasures. Shanti is coming with friends. But there's a but. What is the but? We said there are treasures, within each and every one. What is the but?
Well, implied is ordinarily not seeing it.
That's right, yeah. And our present culture is a superficial culture. We are leading a superficial life. It's a bit like ice cream culture. You just go and buy something on the stall. You are not digging deeper. You are not seeing what is inside. With that kind of culture, you don't have a chance to see what you already got. You are all the time busy begging or busy hoping to get something from outside. Takers, their whole positioning is different. So here you are creating time to discover what you got. Now it is seen that there are some countries who don't have natural resources. Some countries have got lots of diamonds, gold, but some countries don't have natural resources. But they are successful because they learn to dig deeper. And those who learn to dig deeper, they find bigger treasures. And something similar at a personal level. All the spiritual message, big message for each and every one. Then dig deeper, see at another level. Don't go for the easy option of taking things just because it is coming for nothing, or begging or something like that kind of life. But let there be that introspection, meditation. And all our 4 subjects, Gyan, Yoga, Dharana, Seva, these are telling you, dig deeper, look at inside rather than easy option. But we are here underlining the subject of Seva, service. We are saying if you are having the attitude to give, then you get. Not only you end up giving, but you also get yourselves. You discover the kitchen store, you discover the treasures that are there in the kitchen store for yourselves, and you can use them for others, use them for yourselves. I'll give you one example. Maybe there will be opportunity for more tomorrow. So this one example, I was in one country and town, and where our center in that area, and road and a little lane, a little street that leads to the center from one part. Lots of litter, dirty. So one day I mentioned to our friends in the evening, tomorrow morning, we are going to meet for our morning class anyway. Let us meet 15 minutes early. Those who want to come with your brooms and gloves and bags, and let us spend 15 minutes to clean this street. Actually, it was half an hour. That is what we mentioned. Let us meet half an hour early and let us clear the street. 15 people came, at 5:30 in the morning. And we already had plans what we are going to do. We did that. And it took just 15 minutes. And that's why I'm saying 15 minutes. But I was surprised. Everything, all that was required was intention. It was it was fun for everyone. And we finished, washed our hands, and we were on time for our meeting, our gathering. In the evening, I was talking to them, some of them, and they said they have planned to meet next day and take on another street amongst themselves. And I was pleased to hear that, but also surprised. Here is a gathering where no one praised them, and they didn't get paid, and no one knew who did that, but they wanted to do it the next day, do that themselves. What was it? What was it that motivated them to? And not only that, there was enthusiasm. Someone else, he said, I want to pay for some hose pipe. You can buy a hose pipe, I'll pay for it. There is that kind of enthusiasm amongst other people also. That's good enough. So where is it coming from, this enthusiasm and motivation? And obviously, it was not gross. But what really happened, they discovered that that higher personality. They discovered the prince instead of the beggar. They discover, once you start giving, you are discovering the treasures, and these treasures you can't buy. It is not something I can pay to someone, £1,000, £1,000,000, and say, give me that experience of bliss, or give me that experience of wonder. When the person is doing this, you are getting that return. You are removing the blocks, and you are discovering this. In psychology, they use the language.
Y estás descubriendo esto, y en la psicología.
So in psychology, they use this language, the magical.
Usan este lenguaje. El lenguaje mágico.
So I'm not sure what's going on. There's maybe a crash somewhere. But yeah, please carry on.
Yeah. Yes. So in psychology, what they say, more people should experiment with this subject of giving. Like we can say, in this society, lots of givers in the society. Giving is going on everywhere. But in this psychology research, they say you have to take experiment with giving, and by that they are meaning give anonymous, without anyone coming to know. Make that experiment and give it outside of your circle. Most people are giving within their circles. Lots going on, Christmas parties, and people are giving, but within their circles. So in this experiment, do it outside of that circle. Why? Why are they saying this? Because when it is within the circle, you already got a calculation. You are giving cake and you are expecting a bigger cake to come to you next day. In some form, you will get a return. And in Ravana's kingdom, there is always calculation. So here you are giving to someone and you are not counting it. You are walking away. And as an experiment, say you got a chocolate, you give it to someone, and give to someone who you don't know, and just try and get a feel what you are feeling inside you. And you will find if you were to eat the chocolate, it will make you happy for 10 seconds. But if you give it away, you might notice that you are happy even after 10 hours. Each time you think of that incident, it might make you happy. It might, to observe. Now you will get definite success if that is the only chocolate you got. Not a spare chocolate, but there's the only chocolate and you are giving it away. That's the chocolate that you like. You're not giving away a chocolate that you don't like, but you like this and you are giving it away. And third, if you are hungry and in that situation you are giving it away, then you will definitely experience the reward, of another level, and that is a big treasure. And as we said, this is practical, and we are talking about happiness, and this is anyone can play with this subject of giving, and there is a return, and this, as we say, this is a subtle treasure which you cannot buy, but more you are accumulating this, it will have its own return. That energy helps you to understand other areas, and definitely a good area for us to create time at a very practical level, from now until tomorrow when we meet. You will come across many people who walk past you. If you are going for a walk, someone walking past you, you see people at a distance. If you are in the town, anywhere at home, you will come across people. Create 10 seconds each time you are interacting with anyone, strangers or otherwise. Create 10 seconds, and these 10 seconds you give respect to the soul. Soul means is definitely worthy of respect. Is what we are talking about, the noble, and the one who is childlike and godlike and immortal and lucky, lovely. We know all this. Create 10 seconds where you respect him for what he is. That's all. And then you don't have to make announcement. You don't have to make a fuss about it, giving drishti and all this. No. Silently, that drishti is going on. 10 seconds of respect. Remember this. You're very easily to forget. If you create this like a little, as we said, giving and taking is not always gross, it's subtle. And this giving doesn't cost anything. It is not that you have to first wait and become millionaire and start giving. Here, you start giving from today. And each time you are doing this, you will continue to observe what is happening within yourselves. It's an experiment, but this experiment might help you discover something very precious. I will stop here, and I know we'll be creating time for rooms, but you might like to add anything. We'll hear from Sarah also. And I will come out of this presentation. We'll see some other slides tomorrow.
Yes, someone wrote towards the beginning of the presentation about that giving should be unconditional, and it was nice the way that came together at the end. And this giving without any calculation is I think we know it, but actually it was useful to highlight that it should be outside of your circle, because there will be some kind of return. But this exercise you gave of something very incognito may be a nice way to bypass return, because no one needs to know. It's not a visible thing. So I appreciate the idea, because then your posture is of what can I give rather than what can I take. So I guess it would block the beggar, the aspect of the bestower, in the same way that the beggar blocks what we've got. Maybe a question here, when the programmer changes his program, the brain chemistry, does that change? So there's a kind of question in that. Don't know if you have any comments.
Do you want to repeat question?
When the programmer changes his program, does the brain chemistry change?
Of course, there will be some reflection of this at the brain level, because the chemistry of the beggar will be different to chemistry of the haver and of the giver. Yeah, it will change.
So maybe this is a good chance to hear from everyone and share. Do you want to pose a question for starting off the discussion?
And what does supersensuous happiness mean to us? That sense of well-being, inner well-being, what does it mean? And how are we going to increase it?
Okay, thank you. Just writing that up. And we've created some rooms this time. It is possible to change if you need to, and if you need to for your language. So we'll create maybe 10-15 minutes. If you're able to come into camera, it's a nice way to meet virtually, and just giving everyone a chance to share with the group. So we'll open them up now and just some last minute tweaks. We'll see you back. Thank you. Welcome back. So nice to dip in and hear the sharing.
Bienvenidos.
It's nice to be connected to the Spanish group. Don't know. Yeah. When Olga just needs to press the button before translating. So let's create a moment together of that subtlety to catch the feeling of this supersensuous happiness for maybe a minute or so. Thank you. I was thinking something quite fascinating about the supersensuous, the spiritual happiness, because and it'd be lovely to hear your thoughts on what came up, like what does supersensuous happiness mean to you? Because it feels like there's the happiness of solving a riddle, when it like a problem, but you understand how to solve it. So I think the supersensuous happiness gives you that insight, the shift of consciousness, which finishes sometimes the notion of the problem in the first place. It's like solving the riddle. And then there's the happiness of a mission and a purpose. So the soul that feels secure knows he is coming here for the task and to be in clarity in this mission to hold the line. And that happiness of playing a game that comes as well, the playfulness, the drive, the backdrop is the security and knowing it's a game, and happiness of achievement in that, but happiness of knowing that in a way it's solved, the riddle has been solved, it's just maintaining the vivid experience. It's quite interesting, the two aspects of the happiness that's beyond the physical and the gratification. Someone typed also in the supermarket, so I was intrigued to know what that was about, possibly connecting to we can be in this bestower mindset even in the supermarket, but happy to know more how we can increase it also. So whilst you're maybe feeling back on that, we have a little bit of time. Shep might have something further to share.
Hi, and welcome back. And did Sarah say we got some questions? And or if anyone want to say anything or any comments, questions, feel free. But one area want to draw attention. We said at one point that everyone wants happiness. In this world, there is a market for happiness. If you want to sell anything for happiness, there will be queue there. But the problem is all that anyone can offer is short-term happiness. They can offer you chutney and ice cream, and that is. And as we see, that is not just a temporary. It deals with Ravan. Ravan is behind it. It ends up creating beggars and victims. So what is the answer here? We have the answer to put a foundation for that deeper sense of well-being and be happy with it. If you are taking some steps in that direction, be very happy. Foundation for the deeper sense of well-being. And how do we do this? We highlighted two areas today. And one is stop the beggar and stop the victim. These are like two parasites within the system. And if the beggar is getting bigger out of our, some innocence, but the beggar is getting bigger, then it is not a good news down the line, because that beggar blocks the happiness. Someone may have every reason, and they may be on the spiritual path also, but if there is a beggar also going on, he will block the happiness. So stop the beggar and stop the victim.
Hay que parar el mendigo, hay que parar la víctima.
So understanding then what to do in these areas. And the easiest method for us to remove the beggar and remove the victim is bring the prince. Let the prince become conscious. We are not fighting there with the beggar and the victim, but let the noble prince, he becomes conscious. He understands his sky. He understands what he has got. Then you are playing a different game altogether. You are not playing the game of the insect, but you are playing the game of the eagle. And this is what we are offering to the world outside. We spoke about giving and givers, and as an experiment. But our giving is not giving the beggar coins. That is not our giving. Someone is there saying, oh, love me, give me attention. Our aim is not to work at that level. But our incognito intervention is helping the prince, helping the eagle. They are unconscious. We want to make the unconscious prince become conscious. And for that, your 10 seconds, 5 seconds of that vision, they are of great value. In Baba's words, language of the words may stop at a year, but language of the soul reaches the soul. You may speak some words, they may agree with it, they may clap also, but it may still stop at the ears. But language of the soul reaches the soul. It is like a guaranteed. And your 10 seconds at that level, that is like a solid giving. And of course, that kind of giving will have its own return to you. Baba often uses this word, immediate return, instant fruit. But also it is a huge karma. You are taking on this planet, human race, and shifting the consciousness from the insect level to the eagle level. That's amazing, fun. So if anyone understands what he is dealing with, that itself will create enough happiness in you. But creating these 10 seconds, whoever you think of, you can give them 10 seconds of this light. And they are discovering the prince, but they become free from the beggar and the victim and happy forever. This is what you are planning. No fuss, no one, they might not even come to know, but this is what you are doing. You can be silently carefree about this. Yeah, Sarah, want to add anything? It will be nice to hear your thoughts also, but if there are any questions.
My thoughts were going more to if the Spanish translation is working, so I was not able to give full attention. But others might have thoughts.
We'll create another few minutes of experience. And the intellect is the most precious gift for us. If we don't use Paras, then know that the world is absolutely locked with Patthar. That's why they are in the anthill. Their thoughts are about the anthill and comparing and all that is going on. because Patthar is the popular mode, but we use Paras now. And in 1 second, we are seeing the huge contrast. There is anthill, there is lots going on, accept it, but we are seeing the sky beyond. Alokik dimension. And this is the world of joy and love. This is the world of the true family. They all are different. They are not going to be like the ants in the anthill. They are subtle and they are alokik. They are immortal. They are the ones who need nothing and they are beyond harm. That's why we said these are like the divine royals. Highest words from the dictionary need to be used to describe these beings. Divine royals, always. They are immortal and they exist forever without needing anything. And their natural nature is of happiness. And when we are saying the family, we are talking about beyond the human family. All are part of this family. All are lovely, loving, lucky. All we have done is just to use the right intellect and we discovered this extraordinary prize. No one likes to lose a family. And here we are rediscovering our true family. We don't want to lose it again. This is the true family. It is not a family in a story. And true family, they are also noble, divine family. We acknowledge their greatness, acknowledge our eternal bond, sweet bond. And of course, there is happiness. Happiness that they all are safe and they all are good. The silent pride of this great family. This is also God's family. Father and the family. Every second we are just aware of this. We actually help in the benevolence because we as if contribute to this light. Our attention is like light. And that will help them wake up also. That is why Baba uses the language in Yoga Dan, give the donation of yoga accurately. If the yoga is accurately done, then you are helping them wake up. What else is required? If the prince wakes up, then it solves everything. Then he becomes free from the nightmare and everything else. This environment, this alokik environment, also helps the true self. It is like you are busy seeing this, but it has its own return. It helps the true self become more conscious. And if he is conscious, he discovers his life with God, his world of immortality, his world which is beyond harm. It is a world of auspicious feelings. Super sensuous. It is like a far away from that ant hill. He's not seeing the ant hill as the grand option. Life becomes one of celebration. Everything at a subtle and alokik level. And at a physical level, that whole temporary world is also a great gift. A variety of images, they come and go. And that is, he knows it for what it is. And this gathering and Prashant is all within that world, temporary world. He understands for what it is. And because he remains free from that, he is never a victim. That's all. He remains free. Then it becomes a gift. Only when he creates a bondage, that same world can create problems. Invisible player knows of his world, his sky. And temporary visitor in this physical world. The guest here. Thank you. Is there a plan to show the transmission?
Yes, we have that, and we put the link in the chat for recordings. I might just put it in again. So if you want to maybe take a little while for uploading. And one question, happiness, joy, bliss, going higher, question mark. I'm not sure if I get the question, but does it go higher? Maybe something to experiment with. Do you want to suggest a homework, or maybe the last practice was a springboard for that? But if you have anything you want to add, and then we'll go for the transmission.
Yes, the big area for us is how to become free from the beggar and the victim within us. We said happiness is already the nature of each and every one. The blocks are the beggar and victim, these mindsets. So some reflection experiments at that level. And giving happiness, but we also emphasized we are giving the prince. We are not giving the beggar. That is like an eternal circle we can get caught into. But you are aware that the prince is unconscious. You have to give the prince. That is the highest giving. Everyone is a prince. Your vision, your attitude helps the prince becomes the prince. So the homework is kingmaker. Everyone is a prince. Your job is to make them princes again. And so your homework is kingmaker.
Actually, you also answered a question that I did miss a little earlier. Is giving a subtle level greater than giving physical things? It sounds like the best, highest is this kingmaker, such an amazing vision, isn't it? There's the royalty and abundance, so it can only be subtle. The question was, how do you differentiate happiness and joy? I don't know if we need to differentiate them, but you can always take it up tomorrow, but something nice to explore. Thank you for that, Prashant. We can, it'd be great time for transmission and going into the further subtlety of this super sensuous happiness. Shanti.
Lighthouse